I'm just gonna jump straight into it. Today is a bit of a rant, and so I'll just go start with what's on my mind. But let me start with the positive, right? You see the title of the video. It's about sobriety. So let me start on a good positive note. Yesterday, I went sparring, and that was really good. I was really excited. I haven't sparred in a while. It's tough to find good sparring communities, but I went back to one that I've been to before. We drilled for about a good 15 minutes, sparred for about a good hour. I lost count of all the rounds, and I think I only got beat up probably about once. Everybody else, hey. So on that front, things is going very good. Like I'm very happy that as a martial artist, I'm still able. And but what I'm getting at is what happens after the sparring and after, whatever responsibilities I had yesterday. Because I've been on this path where I'm getting rid of all the poisons, right? A lot of people talk about stoicism and all that whatnot. And all these different things that, you can try to get out of your life and weed those things out, right? Well, I've been doing the same thing. So I don't know how many months ago now it's been, I quit vaping. So I haven't vaped. I haven't had or owned a vape in quite so long. I can't tell you when, it's been months. I never was much of a drinker, but I don't drink. And the biggest one for me, the hardest one was pornography. And that's the one that's been the longest battle. I'm talking about years of figuring this thing out, right? Man, sorry for my voice. I'm not even sick. It's just, it's cold and wet out here, and it just giving me a sniffle. So I got to figure out something to do with that. But yeah, the pornography one has been the hardest one. So I say all that to say that by far the hardest thing that I've ever done is actually being sober. And I'm not gonna lie, last night and today, it's just kicking my ass. So about last night, I started feeling, well, side note, I discovered that the best way for me isn't to try to necessarily go cold turkey without a lot of things, but to take a backwards approach and just do less and less and less and less of those things for periods of time. So, for example, I might go a whole day or 2 days without watching or listening to any kind of YouTube, just as an example, right? Because I still count that as, it's a substance, it's a product. And so where am I going with this? So yeah, I've been going strong with that. And I've been having longer and longer and longer phases of just straight sobriety. And this is significant, especially considering the pornography aspect, right? Like, if I've gotten it down to a point where I might look at it once a week. And say what you will, but for me, that's a miracle coming from where it was before. I'm not even gonna say how much I was watching it at the time that I realized I had a problem in the first place. So for me to finally get to a place where consistently, it's maybe one time a week, maybe, it's an absolute miracle. But the problem that comes into place is once you spend time being sober, it just hits you, man. The first thing you gotta accept is those things that you was using, they were actually tools. A prime example today, like I said, today is kicking my ass. Today is my day off of work. I hate having days off work because I don't know what the hell to do. I sparred yesterday hard. I work out every single day, and my job is physical. For me to sit here, for me to try to take the advice, oh, if you don't know what to do, go in the gym and better yourself. It don't get too much better than me. All right, my left hook is something serious. My body shot does damage, which means my core is doing well. And if I can do that for 10, 12 rounds, my stamina is doing great. I'm not trying to be John Jones, but I'm, so for me to do something like work out as a thing to do, working out isn't even a thing to do for me. It's just what I do. I have to stop myself from working out. So on a day like today where I don't have work, I mean, look, I even got my gym bag. It got all my, like, I don't know, you can see that. Pick it up. Like my resistance bands is in here. I got the gym with me basically everywhere I go. But I show that to you just to show, like, I'm stopping myself from working out. I was going to exercise while I talk. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And so normally to kill time, I would just get on some porn and watch porn for like 3 or 4 hours until I'm either sleepy or hungry. And then figure out what I'm going to do for the next, I don't know how many hours, right? But now that I'm giving that up, I don't have a choice but to experience every single second of every single minute of every single day. And I gotta sit with every single one of those because I don't have porn as an escape tunnel. I don't drink alcohol. I have some occasionally, but I'm not drinking alcohol. So any emotion that I do feel is not gonna get blunted. I feel it in 100% Ultra HD 8K. And I gotta sit there with it. I stopped vaping. I didn't even realize how much vaping did for me, but now that I don't vape and I don't use nicotine like that, like I might have a black and mild once a week. Now, if I have a black and mild, I'll smoke half of it and throw the rest of it away more often than not. But now that I don't use nicotine at all, I don't have that tool to calm my nerves when I feel overwhelmed by anything. So now if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just gotta sit there and feel overwhelmed. So it's like all my tools that I was using, I don't have them anymore. And so the sobriety part is just kicking my ass. And it's weird because you know that it's good for you. You know that it's a good thing that I know that it's a good thing that I'm not constantly reaching to try to find my vape. Which pocket is it in? Is the battery charged? Is the juice leaking? Is the juice burnt? Like, I know it's good that I got rid of one thing that had 10 points of anxiety attached to it. I know it's good that I got rid of that. But man, it feels terrible. I mean, last night I continued on. Because I did not watch porn last night. I tried to go to, and I usually sleep with some kind of podcast or something like that on. I specifically chose not to do that last night. So I actually ended up going to sleep somewhat early, right around like 10:30-ish. Cause I was like, okay, all right, I'll just go to sleep, cool. Well, that shit backfired because I woke up at 2 a.m. And man, it was rough. Cause it's like, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm not watching porn. I'm not listening to a podcast, no music, no nothing. It's just me, my bed, and total silence. And it's like, damn. It hit me hard. And I really had no choice but to sit there. Well, I told you I'm ranting today, so I'm gonna rant. So I'm gonna tell you what I ended up doing last. So I made a deal with myself because what I start doing in those moments, I start to use imagery. So I made a deal. I'm just gonna pick an image. I'm gonna pick some form of imagery and I'm just gonna watch that play out in my brain. And I do that because the way it tends to play out, whatever passes by, I recognize that those are actually my thoughts. So as I did that, I chose the image of falling down a hole. I chose the image of I'm going to fall down a hole and I'm going to watch whatever, I'm going to fall down a hole backwards. And everything that passes by me is just going to pass by me. I don't have time to look at it. I'm falling down a hole. So that's the imagery I went down, right? And as I did this, I noticed this, it didn't matter whether I was falling backwards or whether I was falling forward. I kept seeing the same images pass by as I was falling down this hole. So, and that's unusual. I've been doing this technique for a little while, and usually, like in the past, it's been all over the place. Like I see everything. I see my friends, I see my parents' funeral, because I know I'm gonna deal with that one day. I see nature, I see the pets I wish I had. Normally, what passes by as I'm falling down the hole is all over the place. But last night, it was just like one specific group of images. It was all basically the same thing that kept passing me by. So I was like, damn, I can't fall past this. And that was the first time that ever happened. And it's also, coincidentally, it's also the longest stint I've gone that I don't know the day, I don't know the number of days, but I can feel it, I know it. This is the longest I've consistently gone, like not watching porn. Like, I think maybe in the last 2 weeks, I might have looked at it 1.5 times. One actual time and one I just quit in the middle, like I can't do this shit. So this is the longest I've gone in a while. So yeah, and I was like, well, why can't I seem to fall past whatever this cluster of thoughts and images is? And I got up and I was like, man, I don't know what to do because it's not going away. So something is stuck on my mind, and it's like falling down the hole is something is stopping me from falling past this. You know what I mean? So I started to get on Discord to, you know, maybe vent to some other people. But then I remember something I saw that said, you know what, part of being creative is just creating things that nobody will ever see. And so I said, okay, well, what am I attempting to do with Discord? It's not like I really care what these people think about what I got going on. I just want to get it out. So I said, scrap the Discord. I pulled out my notebook, my pen and paper, and I just started writing. And incidentally, that's the most I've written in probably years. Like, just sat down and wrote out what was on my mind. I might make a video about that, but no time soon, because what came out was very, very, very real. I couldn't argue with it. I couldn't fight it. And I couldn't ignore it because it was literally keeping me up last night. So I don't even really have the words to describe what that experience was like, because it was real. What I wrote was really what was in here. And when I finished writing it, I felt a whole lot better. But that doesn't change the fact that today came and I'm still not watching any YouTube. I'm still not watching any porn. I'm still not smoking any nicotine, and I'm still not using any alcohol. So today is another day. And I'm gonna feel every second of every minute of every hour of this day. And every emotion that comes up, I'm gonna experience it in 8K HD. And every time I start to feel anxious or overwhelmed about anything, I'm gonna have to do something about it. I'm gonna have to do something about it. It's just like what happened in sparring yesterday. I went up against one, you know, like kind of stocky guy that you can just hit and they just keep coming. And I said, okay, well, what am I gonna do about it? Body shot, right? I didn't feel good throwing that body shot. The moments before that body shot and the moment during when I threw the body shot and the moment afterwards, all three of those moments sucked. But it's what they did for me at the end of the day. It was like, oh, I can be in a super uncomfortable position and I can still do something about it. So I'm just gonna try to take the lessons I got from sparring yesterday, the cold, no, not even cold, the profound truth that came out of me last night on paper, and the sobering experience of existence. I'm just gonna try to take all of that in stride today. And I'm gonna post this video. I would love to know what some of y'all think about it. I would love to know if anybody else is going on a sobering trip. Hey, comments is open. Let's talk about it. Like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. Take care of yourself. Take care of your head.